Can I lend you a hand? In part 2, we explored a hidden nook in the desert, met Susan and Michael, and heard their story about how they ended up out here and how they renovated a shack, met Frank, the pastor of the local church, and the Canadians traveling in the Blue Nose bus. Now we're going to head to one of those must-see places. Yeah, the place they say everybody when they come here, oh, you've got to go see that. We'll be heading to this place. If you haven't had a date for a while, this is a good place to stop. Looking at this vista, you would have no idea it even existed down here. So we're going down a steep grade right now. Just looks like a stark and barren desert full of rocks and cliffs, doesn't it? And it kinda is. But there's something hiding amongst these cliffs and dirt walls. I'm gonna show you that must-see attraction, but first let's take a little hike, because I've got some other cool things to show you. This is the start of the Amargosa River Trail. We're taking a little hike along the Amargosa River and soon we'll be out into the desert. Life exists even here, like these desert pupfish in the warm pools. Looks like this is the end of the road for this car. Not much spring in its step, although there is some spring. Looks like this car might have been from the 1940s perhaps. Another car casualty out in the desert. Check out that old speedometer. We're heading into the Amargosa Canyon area of critical environmental concern. This was apparently one of the mining assay offices back from 1903. And it's been out here just slowly crumbling away. It's also possible that this could have been a paymaster's office, a saloon, or a general store. I'm not sure what this was, but it doesn't go back very far. Could have been like a little root cellar or something. The scenery out here is somewhat otherworldly. The Tonopah and Tidewater Railroad was built by this guy, Francis Marion Borax Smith, in 1906 to 1907 to transport borax along a 250-mile route from Ludlow, California to Beatty, Nevada. The line ceased operation in 1940. Down below me you can see the railroad grade of the historic Tonopah and Tidewater. You can still see some of the old railroad ties along the grade. You can see the Tonopah and Tidewater railroad bed right there. Well, look who I see coming along the trail. It's Tony. Down here below me is the Amargosa River, which was designated a wild and scenic river in 2009, which some people refer to as the crown jewel of this desert right around here. And it winds its way for some 200 miles before it basically evaporates and disappears into the sand near Badwater in Death Valley, which is about 282 feet below sea level. The river's journey begins near Las Vegas. The Amargosa River is vital for rare and endangered species in the region. It provides crucial habitat for the Amargosa toad, Amargosa vole, and the least Bell's vireo, as well as 260 or so species of other animals. Most of the time, the river flows underground, but it does resurface occasionally along the way. Believe it or not, there's actually a waterfall out here in the desert. Can you hear the roar? Let me show you. The Amargosa River does create a thin ribbon of an oasis in an otherwise severe and austere desert. Let me show you something else before we leave the canyon. Right out here, there's a slot canyon, so let's go check it out. Just look for this sign pointing to the slot canyon and look for this sign. And then you go down and you cross the river and go up to the canyon. It's just a little hop across the water and then continue right up this wash. Keep continuing up the wash and it'll take you to the slot canyon. Here's the beginning of the slot canyon. Enter the canyon. to step up on these rocks. A small climb, no big deal. And then it does become a big deal trying to get up that. Try again. Oh, need more tread on those boots. Dang it. Okay, gonna have to do a different route. I don't have any more tread left on these boots, and that's becoming a problem. Made it to the top here, just came up right through there, and we'll keep on going. It starts to open up a bit, but there's still a little bit of a slot canyon going on here. And then you've got to get up through here somehow. Never mind that route I just showed you. Instead, just come backtrack a little bit and then just go right up through there. Easy peasy this way. And now you're at the top of the canyon. And you get a nice view of the desert. And then you've got to scramble on down this. So it can be a little bit slippery with the loose gravel. So just be aware of that. Of course you can always go farther, like this guy at the top of the ridge. And once you're down, you're golden. Just go back down to the wash and head back out to the trail. Occasionally in my videos you may see me wearing this hat, not just because it's a fun and festive hat, but because it's something of a tribute to somebody who's no longer with us. If you watch my abandoned beach video with my realtor and friend Christy, her dad, Tom, sadly passed away 1 year ago. And he would wear this hat to special occasions and, just to feel happy and fun. So even though he's no longer with us, Tom, your hat lives on through my hikes and in my videos. Rock on in heaven, my man. We'll miss you. We're returning the same way we came when we came down the Amargosa River Trail. Now that you've seen all that, let me show you that must-see attraction. This place is called China Ranch, and it's a date farm where you can actually get dates, date shakes, date cookies, date bread, and it's got a cool gift shop. So let's have a look around. I'll show you. There's date palms growing back there, and I'll show you those. And this is the interior where you can get your date shakes and all that good stuff, and little cool gifts and fun things for people. Let's have a look in the gift shop. It's a really cool gift shop. There's all sorts of things from clothing to whatever you may want. Books, serapes, blankets, pillows, baskets, whatever you might desire just could be here. Even got rocks and crystals. Of course you gotta have rocks and crystals in the desert, right? Come on. Yeah, and how about a skull? And there's all kinds of things, so just come around and check it out. And of course they're well known for all their baked goods and the date cookies and cakes and all that good stuff. If it's been a while since you've had a date, this is the place to come to get a good date. As well as breads and cookies and muffins. The way China Ranch got started was a Chinese fellow by the name of Ah Fu, not to be confused with his sneezy cousin Ah Chu, started up this place after working the borax mines for many years. He came out here and took advantage of the oasis in the desert, and he started growing vegetables for the miners and others. And it just kind of blossomed from there, and people started calling it the Chinaman's Ranch. There's even a tiny museum here if you want to come on in and have a look. It tells about the history of the place. Several pictures adorning the walls. Let me show you the date farm. Come on. You might think there are only a few types of dates, but in fact there are probably more like 20. And these signs will tell you a little bit about that. There's everything from the dairy that comes from Iraq, to the Halawai, to the more familiar varieties like medules and deglet Noors. Dates come from many corners of the world. That's kind of a sad looking coyote.
These are what the dates look like as they're maturing. They will get eventually more brown. Right now you can see some of them are kind of pretty yellow, huh? Depending on the variety, the young dates might be yellow, red, or even purple. They put these cloth bags around them, which gives them some degree of protection from the sun, wind, and birds. And you're free to walk around the date groves or just sit a spell if you like. And because you couldn't drink the water here in the region, somebody had the good idea to install a water filtration place where you can put in your quarters and get gallons of water. And it's only been here about 2 or 3 years. The remoteness and the isolation of the desert has always attracted loners, misfits, and outlaws. Charles Manson was one of them. He frequented the Death Valley area, Saline Hot Springs, Barker Ranch, and many other points. This was the home of Paul Watkins, who was second in command of the Charles Manson family. Paul was basically a hippie, and once he heard what was happening, distanced himself and never took part in any of the murders and moved to Tecopa. He became a popular local figure and was even referred to as the mayor of Death Valley. Paul raised a daughter here, who I met, as she still occasionally comes to the area. Charlie Manson had aspirations of becoming a singing star, and Paul also shared in a love of music and played guitar. You have to wonder, if Manson had secured a recording contract, how history might have changed. After Paul's death of leukemia in 1990, the BLM apparently bulldozed part of the house to prevent anyone else from living there. So what am I? I'm home on the range. Looks like somebody dumped some rocks out here. You got some obsidian, what looks to be rose quartz, maybe some, I'm not sure, amethyst, possibly, I don't know. On that one, bit of a purple color in there. And yeah, so it's just sitting out here in the desert now. One thing there's no shortage of out here in the desert are rocks. I'm here with Daniel and Caroline, and Caroline is originally from France, and Daniel is from Quebec, and they both live in Quebec now, and that's in Canada, if you don't know.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bon matin.
Good morning, guys. And it's cold here in Tecopa. Cold, brr, frau. Freezing.
Freezing.
Froid. Freezing. Froid. Froid.
Fret.
Fret. Très fret.
It's more than froid. Fret is...
Fret is... Fret.
Très très fret.
Fret, très fret. Cold. Like Roger said, living out here isn't for everyone. Few people have the desire or the gumption to reside in the desert, this land of little rain where the barren and thirsty earth patiently waits for a few raindrops to quench its relentless thirst. But if you have what it takes to live in this isolated and desiccated land of scorpions and rattlesnakes, you might find your own personal piece of paradise. Well, almost anyway, if you survive the biting insects, the 70-mile-per-hour windstorms that might last for a couple days at a time and blow dust into your house and sand into your eyes, and heat that will penetrate every pore of your being. And sometimes, even this parched landscape gets a life-giving sip of water. For a time you might think you're in hell, but when the sun sets and the colors come alive and illuminate the mountains and dunes and sky, you just might realize that you've found, at least for a moment, your own little piece of heaven. I always do. I hope you enjoyed tripping around Tecopa with me. I want to see you again. Let's make it a date. Don't forget to give me a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Rockhopper. We all will see ya.
Bye.
That's good.